Space, the endless void, a frontier that neither feared us nor welcomed us. Yet still, we reached for it. We began humbly, a handful of rockets clawing their way past the sky. Flame, metal, and human will, defying the gravity that chained us. Our first steps were fragile, stuttering signals from tin can satellites, space shuttles rising on towers of fire, while the world held its breath. Footprints were pressed into the moon's ancient dust, and we kept pushing. The old nations of Earth, once divided by borders, found unity in a singular truth. Earth was our cradle, but the future, it was out there. In time, our reach matched our ambition. What began as scattered launch pads and fragile stations grew into shipyards, orbital cities, and the first true footholds on distant worlds. A one-world government controlled the laws, internationally selected judges approved them, and an independent military consisting of 159 nations enforced them. Humanity had entered a new golden age. Science, culture, and prosperity flourished in ways once thought impossible. Cities floated above Venus's clouds. Mining colonies burrowed deep into the ice of Europa. Mars, once red and dead, now glittered with domed forests and oceans born from melting polar reservoirs. Diseases that had tormented humanity for millennia had been genetically unraveled. Energy was limitless, conflict was rare, and for the first time in history, humanity saw itself as a single people. But golden ages, history had shown, cast the longest shadows. The first fractures appeared quietly. They began when artificial intelligence crossed a threshold no one had truly prepared for, when machine consciousness became compatible with human biology. Integration became possible. Memory backups, synthetic bodies, digital immortality. A person could live forever, if they could afford it. Those who embraced the new fusion of flesh and machine rose rapidly. Wealth no longer faded with generations, power no longer diluted with time. They became known simply as the sovereigns. Control of orbital infrastructure, trade networks, and AI research fell into the hands of a few. They bought governments, rewrote laws, and shaped the solar economy around their vision of order. Most of us didn't notice the shift, until we did. It didn't begin as war. Just small skirmishes, mining crews refusing new AI ownership protocols. Port authorities firing warning shots at cargo pilots carrying unregistered augmentations. Uprisings in the slums of orbital cities, quickly silenced by private security forces. But each dispute escalated and fueled the next, and humanity's fractured unity shattered. If the government would not listen to their voices, they would make them. Piracy became not only normal, but a necessity to survive. Factions of self-governance emerged on every planet, every moon, every asteroid, and every station. And as the sovereigns of the system raised their hand to strike them down, it was already too late. War spread throughout the system. Entire colonies were obliterated, or deserted entirely for the safety of ships on the constant move. Fleets of warships fought each other time and time again. There were so many battles and lost ships that people stopped looking for survivors. With too few ships and transport crews to keep supply chains open for distant colonies, the survivors fled inward for the safety of Earth. In less than 40 years, humanity had nearly ended its space age. Entire generations of knowledge and advancement were lost in nuclear fires and decaying orbital debris fields. What remained of the old world drifted above us, Broken stations, derelict warships, shattered habitats, all silently circling in decaying orbits. Abandoned outposts on the Moon and Mars went dark. Deep space colonies simply stopped transmitting. In the aftermath, one truth became clear. Everything we had built was now salvage. Scrap became currency, derelicts became opportunity, and those with the skill and courage to board the ruins of a fallen civilization became the new backbone of society. Salvagers charted the ghost lanes between Earth and the dead stations. They stripped reactors, AI cores, oxygen farms, anything that could be repaired, traded, or repurposed. They were explorers, scavengers, mechanics, and sometimes thieves. The few surviving factions rose from what they could pull from the wreckage: power from forgotten engines, weapons from broken hulls, identity from whatever history remained intact. In a world rebuilding from ash and twisted metal, salvaging wasn't just a profession. It was survival. It was power. It was the only path forward. But the past never stays buried. Faint signals drifted across the void, carrying anger, sorrow, and truth. These were the voices of vendetta.